Quickies! What's up, pizzas? Corey Vincent here, and you are listening to Video Game Bang, brought to you by NerdReactor.com. What are you reacting to? And it's just me today, guys. It's just me sitting in this awesome studio all by myself with my thoughts. And that's the scariest thing of all. What we have for you today is a Quickies edition of the Video Game Bang podcast. This is not to take the place of one of our 2 weekly shows. This is in lieu of. I don't know if I use that correctly. Maybe? Yeah? Sure, we'll go with it. So basically, this is going to be a special episode with a list of 5 interviews that I was able to conduct a few weekends ago at TwitchCon in San Francisco. We talked about it on the show the last couple weeks, build up to it. We mentioned a few stories already. If you're a fan of the show, you've probably already heard about our encounter with Alex Myers and then Cory Butler from Bioware. And we talked to Jonno and Matt from Jagex and a couple of the big-time developers over at Starcraft 2 talking about their latest expansion. It was a lot of fun. The event as a whole was pretty interesting. The vibe in the room was kind of mixed. I talked to the game developers who kind of felt like the event wasn't really geared towards video games. And then I talked to other vendors that were working at like the Elgato booth, and they were like, oh my God, this is the best con ever. And it seemed like everybody at the con was handing out business cards. I truly don't feel like it was a con that stood for convention as much as it was a con that stood for conference. It felt like a lot of like-minded people trying to make it, for example. Everybody had business cards. Everybody was handing them out. It was more competitive than I would have thought it was going to be. But, you know, overall, the event ran very smoothly. The space that they decided to use was perfectly sized. There wasn't too many people, which was a fear. The aisleways were not crammed. Overall, mechanically, it was a great con. I think we'll see more vendors figuring out what they need to do at this con. I don't think you'll see as many video games. It's not going to be like an E3. It's not going to be like a PAX or anything. It's going to be more of a workshop for people who want to get better at streaming. With that said, we were able to meet some very amazing people. I'm going to start off with the interview from Alex Myers. We talked about this a little bit on the show. Me and Mr. David Webb from the Video Game Bang podcast were in line to play Street Fighter V. There's this guy kind of just automatically kind of just running through people. I wanted to play with Webb, so I was like, Webb, stand back. I'll play against this guy. At the time, I don't know it's Alex Myers, professional Street Fighter 4 player. So I grab the sticks. I play the guy in a round. I actually win the first round. Surprisingly, shockingly. And to me, I'm like, oh, I have a chance. I'm going to beat this guy. Me and Webb can play and actually figure out this thing because I want to play with someone on my level. I want to play for fun and figure things out, not have to be competitive. Rounds 2 and 3 end up just being a complete disaster. He wrecked me on so many levels. It hurt. And then Webb grabs the sticks, and Webb is Mr. Deer in the headlights. You know, the guy's never played a fighting game in his life, I don't think. And the guy starts giving him tips, saying, oh, you might want to hold the stick like this and try pushing this button. And me on the outside, I'm like, what the hell is this? Why are you going to be just smashing on poor old Corey here? And then you're going to give Mr. David Webb all these tips and be his friend. So we started poking and prodding, and I started talking to him. I was like, yeah, you know, what's up, man? He says, well, actually, I'm a professional Street Fighter player. And me and Webb both kind of look at each other like, well, you need to disclose this information, buddy, because your thumbs are basically legal weapons in a few states. So much like a boxer, like if you're going to run in and have a boxing or try and fight Mike Tyson in the bar and you don't know who he is, he should probably tell you before he punches you up, hey, I'm Mike Tyson, lay off. Alex Myers, stand-up guy, though. Amazing dude. He actually then gave me and Webb a very good in-depth tutorial and gave us some really good tips on how to play. We were like, dude, we got to interview you and then work with you in the future. So hopefully that's going to come to fruition. Without any further ado, check out our on location. This is in the middle of the showroom floor. We duck to the side of the machines, do this interview with Mr. Alex Myers. Enjoy. Corey Vincent here with Video Game Bang and NerdReactor.com, and I am with the man, the myth, the legend, Alex Myers.
Hey, nice Thanks for having me.
You are a professional gamer. Do you specialize in fighting games or specific fighting games? Where will people know you?
Probably from Street Fighter 4. That's mostly what I play, yeah.
And what's your accolades?
My accolades, I've gotten top 16 at some majors and stuff, yeah, so, yeah.
Okay, so you travel around playing Street Fighter and other combat games or just Street Fighter?
Yeah, just Street Fighter, yeah. Okay.
And now, Street Fighter, you're over here. I just catch you. You're like, you're trolling the thing. I think, I'm just playing like a normal dude. So I play this guy, and then I beat you first round, and then all of a sudden you just took it to next level stuff and just wrecked me into the ground. And then I find out later you're a pro gamer. What do you think of Street Fighter V?
Right now, I like the pace of it. They're speeding it up. In the beginning, it was really slow, like the walk speeds. I felt like I was like, playing a turtle, but now it's like, a lot faster. So I like how they're going through it right now. It looks a lot better, a lot cleaner.
Are you going to make the big jump? Are you still going to hold on to 4 for as long as you can, as long as that one's tournamenting out? Or are you thinking about making the jump?
As long as there's tournaments, I'll probably play Street Fighter 4, but I want to focus more on Street Fighter 5 because that's where the money will be, so yeah.
New characters are on display here. You've had a chance to play them. What are your early impressions? Which ones are good? Which ones need more work?
I feel like after playing someone with Armika, like she's really good right now. Like a lot of her combos do a lot of damage. Karen seems really good. She's really fast. So yeah, those are the two I'm looking at the most right now. Yeah.
What about Savage Wolverine?
Savage Wolverine's pretty sick. Yeah, I wrecked you with him. He's pretty good.
Yeah, whatever. I chose Captain Racism, the Albanian Rashid. What do you think of Rashid?
Rashid's really fast too. I think a lot of the new characters are going to surprise people because they're really fast, really strong. No one's going to know what to do at first, so yeah.
So what other tournaments? You got big tournaments coming up?
I want to go to SCR, which is in SoCal, and I want to try and go to like as many as I can before Capcom Cup and try and make it in there if I can, yeah.
I'm really interested in this new Street Fighter V. I really want to play it. I want to get better. Do I have to rush out and buy a game stick, or can I rock the controller for a little while? What's your recommendation?
There's a lot of people that play pad actually in the tournament scene, so I think it depends on your character. Like if you're playing like Ryu, it might be better and easier for you to play like stick. But if you're playing someone like Guile, like Knuckle Dude, he plays like a charge character, so I think that'd be easier on pad. It depends on the character you want, but for me, I think stick is the best, yeah.
There you have it. Stick is the best. Well, that's Alex Myers talking to us about Street Fighter. Thank you so much for your time. Where can people learn more about you, follow you on all the social medias?
You can follow me on Twitter at AlexMyersSF4 and my Twitch by the same handle. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Alex Myers, definitely my favorite Street Fighter 4 personality now. He won me over. It was just so cool. He took time out of his schedule. I don't think he was there for business. He was just there hanging out at TwitchCon and playing the new Street Fighter, getting his time in. Interesting stuff out of there. He says he's probably going to make the move to Street Fighter 5 because that's where the money's at. I wish him the best. I'm going to continue to follow this guy's career, and hopefully he'll help us on a couple projects we got coming up as well. Next up on the plate, we have Cory Butler. He is a longtime producer for the Star Wars Old Republic video games. Star Wars is a franchise close to my heart, as I'm sure it is for many of you out there. And particularly Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic was probably my favorite all-time RPG. It's right up there. And I played the Old Republic before it went free. I was a member for about 6 months. Ran a full-level character, all that good stuff, and then just kind of lost interest. I never really thought they were the same game. Never thought of them as the same game. I know they take place in the same lore, but this one, the story just was never there, and that's what's awesome about this new one. As you'll hear from Cory, the new expansion, Knights of the Fallen Empire, get it? Knights of. It's not a coincidence. This is going to be a lot like KOTOR. There's a lot of comparisons we can draw. We get to ask him a little bit about the Disney acquisition and all sorts of interesting things. So this was a treat to talk to this guy. Two Corys just broing it up. Without any further ado, I'll quit saying that after this one. That's the last time. Without the further ado stuff, I'm done with that. Here's my interview with Cory Butler about Star Wars, The Old Republic, Knights of the Fallen Empire. Cory Vincent here with Videogame BANG and NerdReactor.com. I am here with a fellow Cory. His name is Cory Butler.
The two Corys.
I know.
This can only end badly.
Let's go make some nice 80s movies.
That's right.
He's the senior?
I am the senior producer. It is Austin, Texas, so it's totally fine to be the
of one of the best games I've gotten to see at this event. It is the Old Republic, but it's a new expansion.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell them about it?
So our upcoming expansion is called Knights of the Fallen Empire. It's going to be out on October 27th. And it's, like I was telling you earlier, it's really a love letter to our players. It's a passion project for the team. It's a return to our storytelling roots at BioWare. It's that great combination of Star Wars IP and BioWare storytelling, and it's really just sort of an evolution of the Old Republic in a way that I think players are going to be really excited about.
Now, it's Knights of. Is that a coincidence?
Not really. I mean, we used KOTOR, Knights of the Old Republic, as a big inspiration for what we were doing with Knights of the Fallen Empire. So it's, we kind of wanted to give a nod back to that game with the title of the expansion.
The cinematics opening, I got to play a little bit of it. Opening cinematics are on a whole new level. It felt like just visually stunning. We didn't even have audio, but I knew exactly what was going on in the story. So you could obviously putting this huge attention into storylines. What are some elements we can kind of see from the homage to Knights of the Old Republic that are popping into the Old Republic series?
Sure. You're going to see an evolution of your personal story. So if you played the game at launch or recently, and you've played 1 through 50 or any of the levels, and you've experienced that class story, you kind of know what I'm talking about here. And this is just an extension of that. But with this, we really wanted to make it accessible to brand new players that have never played before, or returning players, but also as meaningful and impactful to people that have been with us the entire time and have multiple max level characters. So when you're a subscriber, you get Knights of the Fallen Empire for free. And with the expansion, you get a free level 60 character, so you can jump right in and experience the story on day one with anybody else who has a level 60 character.
Chapter 1 was a nice tutorial. Like, it was someone who'd played before and then gone away and then came back. It was like all started flooding back to me. But with this interface now, this UI has been upgraded in just about every which way. Everything was simpler. The bars at the bottom. The damage indicators felt new and fresh, so it feels completely new. Now, you got new races in the game as well?
Yeah, we have a new species, Togruta. That's actually live now. It's been out for a couple of months, but it's something we were excited to get into the game. It was the most requested playable species from our fan base, and it's the one that we wanted to make for the team as well.
It wasn't the Jar Jar thing?
The Gungans?
Yeah, no Gungans?
There are no Gungans in the Old Republic as of now. We haven't been to Naboo in our timeline just yet.
Can we ride a bantha in this game?
You can ride a bantha in this game.
Really?
Absolutely can.
Wow. Right back, that joke backfired, blew up in my face.
Banthas, tauntauns, orcheats.
Wow.
All sorts of Kim lizards, aractals.
Now, one of the interesting things you were talking about, because obviously, not Marvel, the other one, the parent company Disney has Star Wars, so it's under kind of like new leadership, and Star Wars is exploding. Target has its own Star Wars section now. I mean, everyone is talking about Star Wars. How's that affecting your game, and how's the new creative direction of the series affecting what you guys do?
It's actually been a really great change. It's not really a change, because the interesting part is like the people that we interact with, the team from LucasArts, now Lucasfilm, under Disney. It's the exact same group of guys, right? So it's the same group of guys we've been working with for the last 6, 7, 8, 9 years, doing all the approvals through and just talking about Star Wars and our game. So it's really just that with the muscle and the gravitas and the awesomeness that is Disney behind all that. So it's been a great partnership for us. We're super excited to be involved in Star Wars at any level, and being able to craft our own stories in the Old Republic timeline is a huge privilege and a wonderful opportunity for us. Any
new species coming to the game?
Nothing in the immediate future. I mean, we certainly have our eyes on a couple of things that we'd like to do, but nothing I can talk about right now.
It's Gungans, everybody. It's Gungans. He winked. For the record, he winked. No, just kidding. I'm very excited about this game, guys. You should be too. It's a spiritual successor, we can call that, to Knights of the Old Republic. If you loved the Old Republic and you were like me and a child and you mailed these guys saying, please make a new Knights of the Old Republic, they're listening now. The game is fantastic. From what I understand, you can play through from level 1 and get to level 50 in the story mode. and
Correct.
never have to interface with another human being, right?
If that's the way you want to play, we have set it up that way. We know that there are a lot of story fans out there, myself included. We love the story aspect, so now we've kind of reworked the base game to allow players to go from levels 1 through 50 doing nothing but their class story if that's the way they want to play. Obviously, all the group content is still there, and you can jump out and play that whenever you want. But if what you're interested in is the story, we've set it up in a way that that's what you can experience.
For free?
For free. 1 through
Okay.
50 is totally free.
You've been
right
in the
now,
industry
live.
for a while. You've been a human being for a while. I have to tell you.
Probably in the industry a little bit longer than a human being. But
So, companies need to make money, right?
Sure.
Why are you giving this game away for free? It's clearly top-notch AAA level. How can you guys feed your families with this?
Well, we we monetize the game in different ways. So there's
Okay.
the cartel market where we sell vanity items. It's certainly nothing that's going to give you an advantage in playing the story. But if you want to, what I find, especially myself, I love to, really immerse myself in my character and in the universe. And if I want deep customization, I want to be able to look how I want to look, have the certain mounts that I want to ride, use different ways to as a rest and recharge to rebuff my health. And so we give you options like that through the market that you can go in and pay for with cartel coins. And really, it's when we made the transition to free to play a couple of years ago. I guess at this point, 3 years ago maybe, 3 years ago in December, I believe. Everything went up. Like the number of subscribers went up, the number of players went up. Like it was a really good transition for us. It was just a great way to let people come in and experience the game, and then we saw from kind of the way people were playing it. Typically, the first purchase they would make once they've come in and tried the game for free was to become a subscriber. And then you get just a little more perks and bonuses with your subscription, and then they just stick around and then continue to buy vanity items on that. So we're actually in a really good place financially and
Great.
and player population wise
It's
right
so good to see quality content like this for free. I just don't understand how
now.
something
When you can
this
see
good.
us giving it back too, right?
Yeah.
Like Fallen Empire is free to all subscribers. They all get a free level 60, and like I said, it's the best work we've done, I think, in the game. Like this content is great. It's amazing. And the Blur cinematic that we did with Blur, the Sacrifice cinematic that we did with Blur as the prequel to this expansion is, we haven't done one of those since before we launched the game.
We talked a little bit. You're a statistic guy, so I'm sure you got all these numbers just floating around your head. What's the most popular class? Because I'm assuming the people listening to this are going to get into it for the first time. So what's everybody doing?
Sure, it's actually pretty even between the Sith and the Jedi.
Okay.
And even there, it's like, are you going to be a knight or a consular, a warrior or a sorcerer? It's all pretty even between the four. Like people just kind of, I think it's the fantasy of wielding a lightsaber is very appealing, and shooting lightning or using the Force is very appealing to players. So that's usually like one of the first classes people will make and play. But then like hot on the heels are bounty hunters and smugglers and troopers and agents. It's a pretty good, broad, diverse player base, and a lot of people they'll have a main character that they play, and then they'll have alts of other classes, and we have a cool legacy system in the game where you can kind of determine the relationship of all these characters and get boosts for leveling up.
That's awesome.
All of them. And one of the cool things we've added that you'll see with Fallen Empire when 4.0 comes out is if you have maxed out all 8 classes, then we'll give you a legendary status, and you'll have a cool little thing around your character portrait, and other players will be able to see that your legendary status, and you've played all the class stories. You know the lore of the Old Republic like the back of your hand.
Most popular race?
Well, human.
Okay.
Human, and I feel like that's probably just because people
They wanna
want to
role play,
relate
right?
to who they are, and it's the easiest one to relate to. I have, I think, maybe one human character. I really enjoy playing the aliens. Chiss is a favorite of mine. Togruta, the most recent, is a favorite of mine.
Yeah, he looked
Pureblood
badass.
Sith is really fun to play.
The new Taruta looked amazing. The last thing I want to talk about is the companions. You guys are going back and hitting the companion thing hard. You're adding tons of new companions. You're with Bioware. Bioware is just known for this amazing companion system. Who in Bioware history characters have been some of your favorites? and what makes them good, and how are you incorporating that? That's a lot of questions.
Yeah,
I'm just
no,
blowing you up, man.
that's a great question though. I like that. That's a tough one, man. In the Old Republic, one of my favorite companions, maybe Kim Vol for the sorcerer. I like. This is not going to be a popular opinion out there. Mako with the bounty hunter. I know that there are some people that are not fans of Mako, but I actually really loved that character. And Mass Effect, I think maybe Thane. Like I really liked Thane and where he came from, and I just kind of liked his backstory. And again, I love aliens, so anytime I get to spend some time with an alien species, I take advantage of that. And with Dragon Age, that's probably even harder.
A lot of good ones.
I know there's so many good, and they all kind of play off each other, and that one's just that might even be too tough to pick, really.
Yeah. And then
I try to romance as many of my companions as possible. Like no matter what sort of trouble that gets me into, I kind of play Captain Kirk's not really of the universe we should speak of, but the role I'm talking about of just like the Casanova of the starship or the camp, the castle, and romance all companions, all genders, just play in the field.
That brings up a good point, though, because in these companion games, it's kind of a mixed bag. Some people want to be able to have everybody like them. In games like Dragon Age, it's nearly impossible to get your whole crew to actually like you because of the decisions. In this one, can you play that Captain Kirk role, or are things you do, you're pretty much going to have enemies?
It's going to be a little bit of both, right? I mean, some things that you do that other companions will approve of, some will disapprove of, some will merely be intrigued by. So it's going to be, it's certainly going to be hard to keep everybody happy all the time, as it is in real life. But it's going to be a great opportunity to explore those personalities and, role play your character however you want to. Live your personal Star Wars fantasy the way you want to live it.
Cannot describe how much you guys need to play this game. If you're a KOTOR fan, you have to go play this game. Even if you're a Mass Effect fan and you're waiting for that new Mass Effect, this will hold you over to it with a Star Wars flavor. It might even convert you to go back and play even more of these awesome games if you've not played Knights of the Old Republic. I want to thank Cory so much for taking the time out of his busy day to hang out with us.
And I want to thank Cory for having me.
Cory!
Hey.
We should have clinked our microphones together or something. All right, check it out. Where can people learn more about the game and download it?
Come to www.swotor.com. You can go /fallen-empire if you want to check out the expansion, or just hit the main page and you'll see all sorts of links on there to get you where you want to go. Download the game for free, jump in, start playing today, see what you like about it, and then stick around and keep playing it.
All right, you heard the man. Hurry up and go. Great thing about Cory Butler is that after that interview, we actually probably sat there and talked for another 30 to 40 minutes just about the event in general. We talked about our favorite Bioware games. This guy truly has a passion for what he does, and I respect that so much. You can tell he has so much admiration for what Bioware does, not just his own team of Star Wars. He was talking about the Mass Effect guys and what they do. He was talking to me about the game development scene in Sacramento and how the world is taking notice. It was very, very great to talk to this guy, a wealth of knowledge about that subject. And the Disney stuff was just great. I could have talked to that guy for hours on end. Next up, we have the interview with, I'm just going to run them back to back. They were both from Jagex. One guy's name is Jonno. He's a young guy. It was his first time in America. He's very excited, the bright-eyed, he was ready to go get with some American women and experience the country. He was talking about Block and Load, a great game that is out on Steam. It's like a mix of Minecraft. He'll tell you all about it. And then after that, we talked to Matt talking about Chronicle, which is like a RuneScape game. If you guys are familiar with RuneScape, that's the MMO version. This is Chronicle RuneScape Legends. So it's kind of like Hearthstone a little bit in the cards, except it's more of a tabletop simulated game. It's really, really wild. I see it being I think it'll be a success. With this craze, it's coming in at the right time. But you'll hear it from Matt himself. So without any further ado, damn it, I lied. I did it again. Damn it. You're going to get to hear Jonno talk about Block and Load, followed immediately by Matt talking about Chronicle RuneScape Legends. Enjoy! Corey Vincent here with Videogame Bang and NerdReactor.com. I'm here with Jonno from Jagex, and we are talking about Blocked and Loaded. How are you enjoying San Francisco so far?
I have to say it's my first time in the States, and San Francisco is amazing. The first thing I did, though, was to get a stack of American pancakes, and my God, they were good.
Oh, really? You don't have anything like that back home?
No, they're not the same. They're tiny little crepes. You know, we've got European French style, but here they're big, they're bad, and they're delicious.
That's awesome. So you're here for TwitchCon, first time in the States. You have that look about you, too, where you're like in wonderment.
When we're of the States.
Yeah, we're coming into this to San Francisco specifically, just crossing the bridge saying, oh, my God, can't believe we're going to San Francisco.
Concrete jungle.
Yeah, it's like a jungle sometimes. So we're talking about Blocked and Loaded. It's a game you've been telling us about. It looks pretty awesome, and there's a lot of big changes coming to it, I understand.
Yeah, well, Block and Load is going free to play on the 1st of October, and we're super excited about this. You know, we're opening up the gates for everyone to just get involved and try out our awesome sandbox FPS game. Yeah, we're super hyped.
So is this game more of, for the people who are not aware, is it more like an open world Minecraft type of open world, or is it like matchmaking?
So what we do, Block and Load, you've got your match-made FPS, and basically we put you in an arena. It's 5 against 5. You pick your character. We've got 12 heroes that we're going to have for free-to-play launch, and then we put you in an arena where you have to attack and defend the enemy base. Now, we don't just give you a base, though. You know, we've got about 16-plus arenas. We add them all the time, and the arenas are free for everyone. But then we go, right, build your defenses, build pillboxes, build a castle, build gun turrets, build landmines, stop them killing your base. And once you've built your base, because you get 6 minutes at the start of every match, you know, you've got to kill their base. You've got to blow them up. You've got to dig under them. You've got to mortar them, airstrike them. Heck, you can even call in an orbital strike cannon.
An orbital strike cannon?
Yes, our astronaut, Astarella, she can call in an orbital strike beacon. So that's pretty cool.
The characters look fun and amazing. So it looks like you guys did take Minecraft. You mixed it with just the MOBAs. So you have all these bright, colorful characters. Skins are a big part of the game.
Yep.
Not the game, but, you know,
well, yeah, it's all about
the flashy part.
We want you to kind of have that kind of attraction to your character, not physical attraction. You want you to kind of go, this is my hero. This is how I play him or her or it. You know, and we want you to kind of go, this is my playstyle. For example, you know, we've got our scientist, Eliza. So, of course, she's got her normal scientist white gown. She also has a hazmat skin. And she's also got an inspired crazy nurse outfit as well. So, you know, you can really kind of put your personality onto your hero.
We got to talk a little bit before this interview, and one of the things that stuck out to me is how Jagex has really been listening to the community. It's not like you guys just decided, wow, we're going to jump into free-to-play market. We're going to do this. It seems like you really listen to the community. It's not like a big money-making scheme like you see from other games. Talk about listening to the community.
Well, absolutely. I mean, going into free-to-play isn't strange territory for us as a company. For example, RuneScape, we've been going over 15 years now, is free-to-play. But what's important is when you go free-to-play, you do not go pay-to-win. And this is something we passionately said to our players. We said, we don't want to be pay-to-win. We've got our ideas of how to be free-to-play. And then we reached out and said, you know, what do you guys and girls think is a way to avoid that? So we made sure that, you know, when you come into free-to-play, you can't buy power. You can only buy customization. And then power and perks is earned by playing your heroes from enjoying the game. So you just can't come in, throw money at the screen and go, right, I'm going to kill everyone now.
And I like to imagine people throwing money at their screens. That was pleasant. So what else can we expect? Can we expect more characters coming down the pipe?
Yeah, so at the minute, as the game currently is, there's 9 heroes. We're going to be increasing that to 12 with free-to-play. So we've got a Russian Yeti, we've got a J-pop assassin, and we've got a walking Tesla coil coming in. To really mix things up, these have unique mechanics, like you can terraform the environment into a Arctic wasteland with the Yeti, which empowers him. Vandegraaf, the Tesla coil guy, he can only reload from running and creating static electricity. And the J-pop assassin fires Nyan cats out of a rocket launcher, so you can make rainbows. So that's pretty cool. And on top of that, we are currently working on our 13th hero, which is unlike anything you would have seen in a video game. We have checked, and yeah, we're looking forward to speculation. But yeah, this hero is insane, and we can't wait. You know, if anyone's played the Time Splitters series and how crazy their hero designs are,
yeah,
we're trying to kind of top that.
Interesting.
So.
That is exciting. See, I have not played the game yet. I'm getting. Are you anticipating a bunch of people purchasing the game before it goes free to
Yeah,
grab all
well,
that stuff? Would you recommend that?
At the minute, yeah, because if you go straight in at free to play, you get 3 heroes that will be on rotation, and you're literally starting at scratch. However, if you bought the game, you get the 9 heroes that are available at the moment. You're going to get all previous skins which were available, including special promotion ones like Santa Claus Engineer. We've also got General Sarge and also a RuneScape-inspired Dwarven Cogwheel skin, so he's a gold and blue robot. So yeah, and if you buy the game now, you kind of get a bit of a head start because we didn't want to kind of neuter our existing players. We wanted to go, you've earned this, you keep it, and of course you get experience of matchmaking. So you're actually going to be physically better at the game and get a little bit of a head start when we go free to play.
Now, is this game going to be... have a ranked gameplay system? Is it already? Or
yeah,
are we
at the
adding
moment we kind of tested ranked, and we wanted to kind of have our own rank system. So we tried like standard ranked where you just kind of progress up a leaderboard. Then we tried a league system, so like bronze, silver, gold, and we kind of settled on a league system. So what we're doing is we're going to have bronze, silver, gold, platinum, and then once you reach platinum, we're going to then put you on a special pro leaderboard where you can then compete to be at the top of the leaderboard.
So you guys moving into esports?
You know, esports is whether or not you get into esports is really decided by your player base. And already we've got some competitive clans. We've held a few tournaments as well. You know, and if the players wanted to be esports, our VP David Slaria said we will fully support that. And as a community manager, that's something I would love to see as well.
Any chances they'll ever come to a console?
No comment. Obviously, our focus is on PC at the moment, and if the game does well on PC, of course, we'd love to explore console options as well. But at the minute, our focus is making sure that the PC game is awesome, fantastic, and that the players love it.
All right. Well, if you guys are listening to this, if you hear my words now, go purchase the game before it goes free to play. You want to be up on this. This game sounds amazing. It's Minecraft meets MOBA meets
TF2 sprinkled on top
with everything. So go get this game now, people. Jonno, where can people learn more about the game if they want to hear?
Well, you got blockandload.com. You can also find us on our Steam forums, Block and Load, and also Twitter at Block and Load and Facebook Block and Load. You know, I'm the community manager. I love talking to you. I love talking to our players, people thinking about the game. Just hit us up. Ask any questions. Our players will happily talk to you as well. They're a really welcoming bunch. And what we've done is, you know, they're not elitist. They're all about bringing in new people and showing them the awesomeness of Block and Load.
So, in that regard, it's nowhere like League of Legends. So, play this game.
Yeah. Well, you know, we all know it can be quite intimidating playing League, especially as a new player. So, as a community manager, I took my experiences as a player in League for 3 years and kind of gone, well, I'm going to really kind of from the start, because it's when you see the community that you've got to really lay down these rules. And I was like, guys, you know, you're competitive. I get that. Go be competitive in this area, but this bit here, the forums, this is where, you know, you empower them. You go, you guys are the future of the game. You know, the more welcoming you are, the stronger the game is. And yeah, they're a really cool bunch.
Love the message. All right. Thank you so much, John.
It's been a pleasure.
All right, Corey Vincent here again with Videogame Bang and NerdReactor.com, and I am with Matt with Jagex Games, and we are talking about Chronicle RuneScape Legends. This is a card-based looking game, similar to like a Hearthstone mixed with like a story mode.
Yeah, it's a quest mode is what we like to think of it as. You know, basically you will have characters who will be going through a quest while you're playing this card game. And the whole idea is that you build these characters' abilities throughout this quest to make them as powerful as you can. So when you get to the end game where the two characters fight each other, you've got the best character and you're going to beat them. Yeah,
so explain it, because it's very hard to visualize. I got to see it. I had no idea what you were talking about until you showed me, and then it made so much sense. So basically, it's like a board. It's a storybook, and there's 5 chapters per match.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. You know, imagine you are sitting at a table in front of somebody you fight. There is a book in front of you. You open it up. You lay your cards on this book to take it through this story. And depending on what cards you lay down depends on the abilities that you get from defeating monsters, for example, or picking up allies, or, you know, finding equipment. And at the very end, the person with the best equipment, who's killed the best monsters, who've got the best allies, will be victorious in the final fight.
Yeah, you're using your cards to set yourself up for victory or to set the opponent for defeat. So you have cards that can like trap them up, or like you said, a pack of dragons or something.
Yeah, absolutely. You can send dragons off to attack your opponent, so, you know, they will get hit for a lot of health, and, you know, hopefully you'll kill them before you get to the final fight.
And then you're also, while at the same time, setting yourself up to beat creatures, to loot them, to increase your own armors and do stuff like that. And then if you get to the end of chapter 5, the 2 people fight, right?
That's right, yeah. And The one who has had the best quest will win.
So what's cool about this so far is that it looks like it's taking two things that are wildly popular right now and blending them together and doing it right. Because we got Hearthstone, which is bonkers right now, and that's kind of the system it looks like you guys are going with to acquire new cards and the currency system. And then tabletop games are on fire right now. People love tabletop.
Absolutely. I mean, at Jagex, we love our tabletop games. You walk around the office, you'll see boxes of things all over the side. Warhammer games as well, all over the place. We love that sort of thing. This is what inspired us to make this the way it is going to be, because we wanted to get this experience onto a computer screen, and that's why we ended up with this way of doing it.
So it's coming out on PC in closed beta. Is there a place where people could sign up if they're interested in this?
Yeah, if you go to chronicle.com, I'll have to check that. Yeah, there's a website.
While we're talking about that, there's going to be a lot of people, I think, that are going to see this, because even the art style, to me, I don't play much Hearthstone, but when I look at it, the cards look similar-ish, and you're going to get a lot of people saying, is this just a knockoff? What do you say to that?
I mean, people will make that connection. I mean, that's no denying that. But it's a gameplay which is wildly different. You play Hearthstone, you'll play Chronicle, you will see immediately the differences between it and why it plays so different.
Fair enough. And one other thing we were talking about is that the lore and the characters that are on these cards are actually from the universe.
Yes, yeah. Everything is based on RuneScape. This is a RuneScape game. Every card that a RuneScape player will see will know what it is, the history behind the person they're using, the character, the items they're using. They will know what it is. It's all from RuneScape.
And is this a game where you're going to have a team of people constantly monitoring this metagame to make sure things stay within balance?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the most difficult things about card games, is making sure that there is not a win card anywhere, because that's what breaks it. If somebody can go and pick up this, this one win card or this 3 win cards, then, there's no point fighting them. So we've got to make sure that whatever's going through this game, that we're watching it closely, we're making sure that it is all balanced properly. I mean, we've put a huge amount of effort into RuneScape as a whole over the last few years, with our monitoring software, what people do in game, why they're doing things in game, and what impact they have of doing that. And that's not just in Chronicle, but that's in all our other RuneScape games as well.
This game seems wildly different from other games in the RuneScape franchise and other games that Jagex has done. What was the most surprisingly difficult part? Because when you look at it, you guys do MMOs. You would think, oh, it's just a card game. That's easy for them to do. But what was surprisingly difficult?
The most difficult thing, I think, was finding something that our players would like. We've taken this game out to our players time and time again in different versions of it, and really listened to them to understand what they liked about it, what they didn't like about it, and getting it to a stage where they will enjoy it. And when at RuneFest this year, when they get to play this version that you saw today, it'll be really interesting to see how the players will react to it.
How long you've been in the game industry for quite a while? It's a big trend now for people to go more and more to the community to help make these games. Has that changed game development dramatically?
Absolutely. I mean, old school RuneScape, for example, everything that goes into game is polled to the players. Nothing gets added to the game unless 75% of them vote yes, we want it in game. So we can come up with ideas and say, right, we want to do X, Y, and Z. And if they say no, we don't want that, we won't do that. But the way it normally works is they come to us with, right, we want you to make this, that, and the other. We will then poll it to the rest of the community and say, do you guys want all this? And if they say yes, we will make it, we'll put it in game.
Has this made the process easier or more difficult? Is it easier just to listen to the community, poll them, and make it happen? Or is it easier just to come up one day and say, you know what, we're going to add panda bears to the game, and then just go make it happen?
It's easier and more difficult. The challenges it brings is it's easier to say, oh, well, the community didn't want that, therefore it's not a problem. But there's also the frustration if we really want to do something and the community disagree. Personally, we get upset about it because we're that passionate about it.
You're like the parents.
Well. Yeah.
Eat your vegetables. It's going to help you out in the long run.
There's also other aspects which aren't always open to the community as a whole. So, how a specific update will affect other updates, what the impact will be. So if we put a new best in slot item out there, the previous best in slot item ceases to exist. That's no longer useful for anybody. How does that work? We've had to work quite close with the community to come up with strategies to deal with that. We should say to a player, do you want this new Uber item? It's absolutely wonderful. Most of them will go, yeah, we want that, but it might not be the best thing for the game. So we have to be really careful about how we're polling it, what we're listening to, and making sure the stuff we are talking about is what's good for the games.
How do you see this moving on in the future? Is this going to a trend that's going to be around for a long time, listening to the players? Is there ways that you guys are doing e-polls to make this quicker?
we've got polls in games. The players don't even have to leave the game to vote on the content polls. You know, that the whole idea of a computer game, players want to be in it, so we've made it a content thing. So you actually literally go to a bank, you've got a polling booth in front of you, you go click on it, it gives you the questions, you vote yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, go, and that's it. And I mean, the way I see this going in years to come is you give players the ability to create their own content. So they create the content for the game itself within the game code and then submit it for other players to try, and then we can see how successful each individual thing is and then start moving that into the main game. Maybe sort of going down that route is the sort of the end goal, I guess.
With the going back to Chronicles, are you guys laying out the ground floor plan so that maybe possibly if this takes off, we may see a tabletop adaptation of it where people can actually get together and play this game on a...
Absolutely love to. I mean, I'd love to do a physical box thing that you can buy in Toys R Us or whatever toy shops you have in America. But, you know, that would be an absolutely wonderful thing. But the next step for us, one thing we're at a very early stage at the moment we're looking at is doing a VR version of it. So you get your Oculus Rift, you put it on, and then you play somebody sitting opposite you. As a card game, you'll open the book in front of you, you'll pick up the cards with your hand, you'll lay them down, and then you have a proper fight within a virtual environment like that.
Is the technology there yet? Being as though, you know, being media, we don't get to see it all that often. Do you have a dev kit where you're like, yeah, this is coming soon, or is this like 5-10 years in the future?
It's almost impossible to say. We're very early on in the stage of, you know, what can be done, what can't be done. We'd love to do it, and, you know, we will do everything we can to do it. But whether it's doable, that's still in the future to figure that out.
That sounds really awesome.
It would be amazing, wouldn't it?
Well, all right. Thank you so much, Matt. Where can people learn more about the game, Chronicles?
If you go to RuneScape.com, there's links to all of our games there. RuneScape, Old School, Darkscape as well, which we've just bought out, and Chronicle. Okay.
Sign up for that beta, people. Get on it. Looks good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was an awesome interview. Anytime you have that awesome accent, you automatically gain so much developer credibility. It's kind of like, I think that's how Peter Molyneux had us all hypnotized for so long. He just had that accent, and the delivery was perfect. These guys were so cool to talk about the game. They gave us some codes, some tips, invited us to play the game with them on some of their live streams, so we're definitely going to take them up on that. And the game has gone free to play, everybody. And for people who had purchased the game before the first, you get a bunch of free stuff. They made it well worth your while. It seems like the Jagex really has the experience because of RuneScape to know what they're doing. Next up, I have a pair of developers from Starcraft 2. If you are fans of Starcraft, the series, the final expansion is coming. They're wrapping up a lot of storylines. We were actually able to talk to James, the story guy, and Matt, the campaign designer, and they gave us a lot of good information about the series. Check it out. Corey Vincent here with Videogame BANG and NerdReactor.com. I am here with two legends of the industry. I'm going to go ahead and say it. Legends. They're on a legendary franchise. I'm going to build them up so they're extremely nervous during the rest of the interview. His name is James. He has done the story of the new StarCraft expansion.
I did.
And then we have Matt here, who is the leader of the campaign. He's the leader of it. He's in the game. So what can we expect story-wise in this game? Because you guys are wrapping up so much history in one game. How much pressure is that on your shoulders to not Mass Effect 3 it?
Right. Well, it's funny. Yeah, sure, it is a lot of pressure, right? But really, at the end of the day, it's an amazing opportunity. I've been a total StarCraft geek since I was in college, and so really we're wrapping up a storyline that was started that long ago. It's the Jim and Sarah Xel'Naga storyline. So for me, it's an honor. I grew up playing that game. I grew up playing all the other games, and so it's a lot of pressure, but it's a lot of fun. I mean, it's an end time scenario dealing with my favorite race, which is the Protoss, as they stand against an omnipotent being. It sounds kind of crazy, but
given such a huge responsibility almost to do this, and then as a writer, did you get all the creativity you wanted to throw into it, or were they like, you can't just explode the whole universe, you got to stay here, or was there?
Well, I mean, look, the way we develop narrative in general at Blizzard is very hand-in-hand. It's very much of a partnership. At the end of the day, all these stories have to kind of express themselves in gameplay, and it has to be a fun thing to experience. So, I can't create a novel. That's not a video game experience.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, sure, there are things that I would have liked to explore that I couldn't. Yeah, but not in a bad way. It just didn't fit in didn't make compelling gameplay.
No
right?
big
So-
starving artist thing. They didn't let me do
no.
what I wanted to do.
No.
Okay,
I mean,
cool.
it's an amazing experience the way we develop at Blizzard. I mean, it's like really powerful connections with the art directors, the game designers, the writers. We kind of feed each other.
Okay.
And check each other and make sure that, like, you know, our ideas inspire each other. Like, an artist will draw a concept picture and suddenly I'll create a whole story around it. So,
Awesome.
no, man, nothing's left on the floor. If anything, there's things that I'm just impressed I wouldn't have thought of without the team.
That's so cool. And moving on over to Matt over here. Being in charge of the campaign is like a big responsibility. How much of it was you guys working together and you being like, did you have to rein it in and make it collaborate a lot?
You know, all the design that we do here at Starcraft has all been very collaborative. I've been there since the start of the project for Wings of Liberty and Legacy, or Heart of the Swarm and Legacy of the Void. So, you know, we sit with the writers, they sit with us, they will bounce ideas off of them, you know, and they'll bounce ideas off of us. So we basically we'll take their story points and we'll go back and work with all the designers and we'll start talking about what can we do as far as gameplay-wise surrounding these story moments. Sometimes we come up with something like, you know what, I don't know if this is going to work, so we go back and talk to James, right? And sometimes James says, hey, you know, I really need to get this point. Can you make a mission that surrounds it? So it's very collaborative. I don't know if there's ever anything that's, hey, I really wanted to get that moment in there. I can't believe you didn't let me happen. It's not. I mean, it's a big collection of everybody kind of contributing at the same time. And for me, that's why the game is so good, right? It's a lot of different ideas going in.
Although you did shoot down my early draft, which was a Protoss romantic comedy, but fair enough, there was no gameplay around it. So.
That sounds awesome. Now, one of the big things about these games is the arcade. Are people who are making mods and making arcade games, is there a lot of new material and fresh resources for them to make more compelling things?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, everything that we're putting in Legacy of the Void will be an asset that they could use for their mods, right? So there's various features that we've done to improve the editor. There's more art tools going out. There's a lot of different things that the mod community hopefully will get really excited about, including the new co-op missions that we're building, right? Because there's a lot of exclusive content just in co-op that you won't find in single player and multiplayer, right? So all these assets will be available for the mod community to kind of go crazy with.
Now, one of the things that's most exciting about the StarCraft is that it's getting its own release, so it's its own entity. What's the difference in your guys' job when you guys make that decision? Is it the exact same to you guys? Because it seems like there's advantages and disadvantages.
For us building the game, there's really no difference, right? You know, we work out a sense of like, what do we need to get accomplished? What do we need at a timeline? And we let the producers, we let all the business aspect, they kind of handle that part. But as for us, you know, well, I will say that there is one slight difference, is that because it is a standalone, and you may have not have played Wings of Liberty, you may not have played Heart of the Swarm, we are aware of those group of people, right? So we've redone the tutorial. We've got, when you come into the campaign, we make sure that we kind of show you what it's like to play StarCraft. But we do it in such a way that it doesn't hinder anybody who's a veteran, right? Because we know that these guys are the core audience. They come in here, they don't want to be slowed down. They want to play the game. They say, like, we want harder difficulty. We want all that stuff. So it's still there for them. But we definitely made it for the easier difficulties for people who are not familiar with StarCraft. It's much easier to get into the game right now at this point.
And I would say from the story side, we were very lucky just in the way the story was constructed, in the sense that the last two games really were focusing on toppling the Arcturus Manx regime. So it was a very Terran-focused nemesis, right? The good thing is this story really deals with a kind of grand cosmic scale that only the Protoss are really ready to face. And so it's not like there was a lot of setup for this experience in the other two games. There were hints, and we knew it was coming. So I think at any point you can kind of be onboarded. But let's say you haven't played those other two games. We really, you know, from a narrative perspective, we thought that through, and we made sure that when you fire up the game, there's a video that can kind of catch you up to the key events of what happened in a kind of entertaining and succinct way.
Now, I hear a lot about the cutscenes. People are talking about a lot of cutscenes in this game. How does that go into the story making? For you, making the story, did you know ahead of time it's going to be very theatrical? Did you have to gear more towards like writing for a script for a movie?
Totally. Yeah, I mean, we write in scripts. You know, that's kind of where we start, and we jam together. We even do table reads with a bunch of designers and artists and everybody around. You know, the cutscenes really are our opportunity to get the in-depth story out. We try to make the gameplay portions story objective, but light enough so the design can make really great designed missions. Where the story mode, we can really get into the heads of our characters through either story mode conversations or through the cutscenes we're talking about. I think with this version in particular, we've decided to really try to amp up our cutscenes and do so in a way where we don't just have talking heads. You know, we try to do a little bit more dynamic cutscenes and explore the ship a little bit more and really kind of invest in the fact that this is a big, sweeping space opera.
Yeah. All right, guys, if there's nothing else, if people at home want to learn more about the game, StarCraft, where can they go find it?
Starcraft2.com.
StarCraft, there it is. Thank you guys so much for your time. Go check out the game. It is Legacy of the Void. It will be out very, very soon.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
And look at that. We're all out of time. I want to thank you guys for checking out this special edition of the Video Game Bang podcast. The Quickies edition, TwitchCon, was very fun. Regardless of its confusion, its little identity crisis, its puberty, whatever you want to call it, overall some good stuff came out of it. I saw a lot of kids there who really look up to these streamers, who had a very good time. They were getting their autographs. These people are accessible. I mean, even though if it's a little new age, newfangled for us who... Myself, I mean, I'm not in love with the Twitch brand like that. I see Twitch as a tool to communicate with you guys, the fan base, and make the shows a little more dynamic. You won't see me wearing a Twitch sweater or anything like that, but for what it was fun. If you guys like the show, follow us on Twitter at VideoGameBang, Facebook.com/VideoGameBangBang. Support us on Patreon, Patreon.com/VideoGameBang. And of course, subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, wherever you could find podcasts, you could generally find the Video Game Bang. Thank you to Corsair, our sponsor, and of course, NerdReactor.com. If you guys want to catch us, December 13th, we're going to be at the SAC Gamers Expo as special guests. We're going to have a booth and panels and all sorts of good stuff. We hope to see you there. And as I always like to say, see you on the internet.